It's Chickenfoot right here with Happy Birthday and Wipeout. And kicking off the Classic Metal Show tonight, we heard Anthrax with Only from the Sound of White Noise. And, of course, we heard some Badlands there featuring Jakey Lee on lead guitar with the Streets Cry Freedom. And a guy who is not crying today but celebrating is my good friend and partner, Chris Aiken. What's going on there, birthday boy?
What is up, man? How we doing?
Good. Just hanging out here, waiting for the show to start.
Now, admit it, you thought I was going to come in here blasted drunk, didn't you?
I don't know. I talked to you earlier today. You didn't sound any worse for wear, so I didn't assume that you would be imbibing today.
Nope, I'm drinking coffee. I imbibed last night. Last night was my party night because I knew I had today to step up to the plate and actually be Classic Metal Show guy.
Well, there you go. Well, let's just put it this way. You started early and partied into your birthday.
Wow, did I ever.
So it is your birthday today, and will you be celebrating with your former love of your life?
You know what? I sent her a text saying happy birthday. She sent me one in the back that said, you too.
Just you two?
Just you two. So there you have it. There was our birthday celebration to each other.
She couldn't have gone out of her way to say happy birthday as well. It was just you two.
Nope, you two it is.
And it was spelled letter U and the number 2.
No, she actually wrote the words. I'll give her that credit. She went deep, those extra 4 characters.
You too. And then you go, what am I, Bono?
Yeah. I'm not a world hungry criminal like that guy.
Right. Well, happy birthday, my friend. You've reached a milestone of 50 years old.
I have. Now when I die young, it won't be that, oh, it's so tragic, because I honestly think that 50 is that break. If you die in your 40s, I think it's like, oh, that's so tragic that he died so young.
Well, that's funny because Doug Stanhope has that same spiel, you know.
Does he?
Yeah, he's like it was the no refunds, I believe it was in this stand-up for no refunds. He goes, yeah, I'm 42. He goes, right. I'm not young, but then again, I'm not old. If I die now, it's just like he died so young. Well, maybe not so young. Maybe he died early.
Right. Mm-hmm. No, that's true. But at 50, it's like, all right, that's young but acceptable.
Yeah, it's half a century.
Yeah, it's good enough. So yeah, but yeah, it's been a interesting day to say the least. My God. Dude, I got so many, you know, Facebook with the birthday things.
Well, I wouldn't know because I'm not on Facebook.
Well, Facebook has a thing where yes. You get, it tells everybody that you've ever met that it's your birthday, and they can send like happy birthday messages. And I got messages from all over the place. All my friends, all my family, producers, TV people, your old girlfriends.
My old girlfriends?
I got one from one of your old girlfriends.
Who?
Serena.
Oh, okay.
So I got one from her. Dude, Mayor Applebaum dropped me a personal message.
Oh, that was nice.
So happy to hear for it. It's your birthday today.
Wow.
I was like, well, thanks, Mayor. Glad to hear that I'm in your friend circle, I guess.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just a cool day, man. No complaints here. Spent the whole day, honestly, spent half the day laying in bed recovering. But I was hurting this morning, I ain't gonna lie. Kelly bought me this bottle of I don't know what it's called. I'll look when we go to break or something, but it's some new kind of Jack Daniels that's like, it's like the Jack Daniels equivalent of 151.
All right.
It's not quite 151 proof. It's like 137 proof. But, oh, my God. That shit that was like pouring fire down my throat.
So it's got the little extra kick.
A little. Oh, my God. We did one shot. And, dude, she drinks Jack and water. I mean, basically, she just drinks straight Jack Daniels when we drink. And even we were sitting here in the kitchen, and we both did a shot of it. and both of us were just lunging for my fridge looking for a bottle of water to chase it with.
Nice.
It was so potent. I was like, woo. But that was a good way to get things rolling.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And then we did what we always do. We went out, had drinks, had dinner, came back to the house, drank a bottle of Fireball, some Gentleman Jack. On and on it went.
So it was a Jack Daniels birthday.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. And she got me some cool shirts that are like, anytime I get shirts that have profanity or feigned profanity, I'm happy.
Of course.
One of them is a picture of a rooster and a picture of a lollipop. That's all it is. Cocksucker.
Yeah.
And then the other one has something like I love this country, but it's like a picture of Hillary for the cunt and then a tree.
Right.
So I love this country.
Right.
I will be wearing those out at some show at some point.
I'm sure you will.
But just fun, dude. I just had a fun time. Had a nice dinner. Dude, I said it on Facebook. I've really been celebrating my birthday now for about 6 weeks because I've just been running around going to shows and partying, pretty regularly for the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever it's been. And I got 6 more weeks of it coming. So it's like a long birthday celebration this year.
Yeah. Well, why not?
Whatever. You only go once.
Exactly. So, well, good for you. I'm glad to know that you're getting out and about and, just doing some fun stuff.
Yeah. And dude, another bucket list week with whatchamacallit, with Jake yesterday. Interviewing Jake.
Yeah. And that almost didn't happen.
Well, dude, let me just tell you, Jake, I scheduled it for 6:00 yesterday night, and I knew that Kelly was meeting me at 6:30, so I really didn't have a window for a fuck up. And of course, I'm calling at 6, goes right to voice, to the point that I sent a message to the publicist at like 6:15 saying, "What the fuck, dude?" And he hits me back and goes, "Oh, we'll reschedule." Well, Kelly was running late, so I was like, I'll just take one more stab at it at 20 after. So I call, and it's Jake, and Jake answers, and he's like, "Oh, I thought you were the guy I was on the other line with. I got disconnected from him." And so I said to Jake, I said, "Well, do you want me to reschedule so that you can finish that interview?" And he goes, "Nah, I was pretty much done with that one anyway."
Well, okay. Well, I wasn't even referring to the lateness of the interview. I was talking about the fact that the record label wasn't even going to let you interview him.
Yeah, well, and that was such a thing too, man. One of the few times ever, and dude, I don't do this, but it was one of the few times ever I was like, God damn it, this is bullshit. They offered us, 2 other guys in the Red Dragon Cartel in Jake's band. Right. And look, nothing against Anthony. We obviously are friends with Anthony Esposito, and nothing against Phil Varone. It would have been good just to ask him about his 2-day stint in the Bullet Boys, on this tour. Right. But it's like, come on, we're interviewing. We're talking about Red Dragon Cartel. We've never had Jake on the show. We're getting Jake, or we're not fucking promoting the record. End of story. And sure enough, the publicist, and the publicist is a great dude, so I really don't want to just shit on him. I mean, he's been great to us for how many years, John Freeman? Right. Like, what, 15 years he's been great to us? At least. So I do not want to say, oh, this fucking rookie or, nothing like that. Just was like, dude, come on. Tell the label to look at our numbers versus some of the other numbers of shit that's getting Jake. Jake's playing to 30 fucking listeners on some interviews, and then there's us where there'll be, tens of thousands of listens. It's like, fuck, work with us a little bit. And he did, and he made it happen. Like, then that afternoon, I get the message saying, how about Friday at 6? I was like, okay, done. And we made it happen. Nice. So, yeah, good. And I thought it was a good interview. I thought it was pretty good, and I thought it was funny how he addressed the whole changing singers all the time and the drunk. And I asked him point blank about Darren being fucked up that first show, and he was like, "Yeah, that was pretty much a mess." So yeah, it was good. It was a good interview. Another one off the old bucket list, man. Nice. So,
Well, good.
some good times, man.
It's a crisp weekend.
It really is. Chris week, because it started Monday with the Great White and Chips Enough and the Bullet Boy show.
Well, let's roll back, shall we, on Monday. So you went to a place that you would never go.
Yeah,
under normal circumstances, but you went to the House of Blues in Cleveland.
I did. And that place is still every bit the lousy place but I will give them a little bit of credit. I like sitting in we had balcony seats, and I like sitting in the balcony far more than standing on that cement floor.
Right.
That is definitely a plus. But other than that, I still hate that fucking place. Everything about it, from the parking situation to, where it's located and the sound inside the place and the $8.25 for a fucking drink. It's like, ugh, just fucking die already. But I did go and had a good time. I won't lie. It was pretty good time, pretty fun.
So, did you run into Chip?
No, of course not.
You didn't?
No, of course. Dude, so I'm there.
Yeah.
Chip does not hit me back on Twitter.
Okay.
I bought my tickets, which, whatever. I bought tickets under the thought of, well, no matter what, I'll find a way to get back and meet up with Chip. So I'm tweeting Chip, trying to get a hold of him to say, hey, man, we're here. I'd like to see you, whatever. So we watched all three bands play, and then Wardlaw, I ran into Matt, and he gives me a pair of all access passes.
Okay.
And he goes, go ahead, just go ahead back. So we go backstage, and it was right after Great White was the headliner. It was right after Great White ended. So we go back, and I run into mine and your mutual friend Kara. Kara?
Yeah, of course, from Pure Rock Shop.
Yeah, run into Kara and my friend. I don't think you know this guy, but this guy Kevin. And run into them, and they're like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're just looking for Chip." She goes, "Chip left about an hour ago." I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" He fucking left.
Wow. Okay.
An hour before, so I did not get to run into Chip. And then we hung around for a little while waiting for Jack to get enough air to come out, but he didn't. So it was like, it started getting late. We were both like, "Fuck this, let's go." We did run into Mark Torian or Toreen or whatever, and said, "Hey man, how are you?" Didn't even bother to take a picture.
Right.
Because his set was brutal.
Yeah. Well, our good friend Sal in the chat room, he attended the show Thursday here in Chicago at the House of Blues.
Did he like it?
Well, he had the same sentiments about the Bullet Boys that you did, that they were pretty horrendous.
They were, dude. A couple. I mean, Mark sounded okay. I mean, I will say that he didn't sound awful. I mean, he didn't sound as bad as that bumper that we have. He didn't sound that bad, but he does this thing now. First of all, he's on stage and he's acting like he's a punk rock guy, and the music doesn't fit how he's performing.
Okay.
Like he's playing like Hard as a Rock. And that's what would you call that? Between mid-tempo and fast?
Yeah, it's just a straight up hard rock song.
Yeah, but it's not fast.
Yeah.
And he is running back and forth and jumping, doing the bounce pogo stick jumping, and I don't know what you call that thing that Scott Ian used to do, where they jump up in the air and they kind of swastika their legs sort of thing, like almost like the splits type of a thing.
Okay.
He's jumping up and down doing that kind of bullshit.
Right, right. He's doing a who used to do that? The black guitarist. What was his name?
The black guitarist
from the 50s.
Chuck Berry?
Chuck Berry, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Chuck Berry move.
Yeah, he's doing all that kind of shit. And it's like, but the music doesn't call for it. The music calls for maybe walking around a little bit and, I don't know, fist in the air or some shit. But but he's just going too fucking crazy, man. It was ridiculous how crazy he was going. And then he did this thing, and he did it 50, 60 times. I don't know what the fuck this move is, but he looks up in the sky, and he opens his mouth as wide as he can open it. And we were calling it stroke face out of a lack of a better term, because it looked like he was just having like seizures or a stroke or something, where he's just like playing guitar and he's looking up in the sky going, ah! You know, it was like, dude, what is up with this? And he did. He looked like he was having a stroke.
Right.
And he did it at least 40 times throughout the set. Me and Kelly and Matt, we were all looking at each other like, what the fuck is that? You know, it was just not very good.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the middle of the set, he breaks down to do a tribute to Steve Perry, which, okay. You know, Steve didn't die. He just put out a new record, for fuck's sake. I don't think you need a tribute to him. And then he does a song. He did the song Stay a While, which I don't know if you know that song or not, but it's like a sequel to Lights.
Okay, yeah, I do know it.
You know, but it's well out of his depth. I mean, well out of his depth to sing that song. And he's trying to do the high notes, and he's like, I'd sing any song your heart desire. I mean, it sounded so fucking bad. I was just like, oh, dude, please hurry up. You know, I don't hate the Bullet Boys. I really don't. I was actually hoping that they were going to be good, but they were not.
So, well, basically what Mark has or is trying to do is reinvent himself, you know, not away from this Bullet Boy stereotype, you know, or you know, and it just doesn't work.
But he's not trying to do it with new music, because he only played one song from the new record. He played almost, I think, every song that they played, except for the opening track, was from the first two records. He's not reinventing in as much as he's, you know, interspersing new songs. He only played one.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at what Tame Me Down did with Faster Pussycat. You know, they were a glam band in the you know, late 80s. You know,
yeah.
And they had the whole glammy look and whatever, but when they came back in the 90s,
right,
he was trying to adopt the whole Marilyn Manson thing.
Yeah,
you know, but they were still performing the Faster Pussycat tunes,
right.
But he was trying to do it in a gothic way.
Yeah, I wouldn't say quite that. I mean, it still sounded like, sound-wise, like if my eyes were closed, I would have been like, okay, this is the Bullet Boys. I mean, you wouldn't have to stretch to figure out that it's the Bullet Boys. I mean, they still play the songs the way they played them in 1988. It's just watching Mark. Mark is like, it's like he's done 14 lines of speed before he gets on stage. And he's like jumping all, dude, the pogo stick thing was like just so bizarre. You know, dude, pull up our channel, our YouTube channel, if you can, because I captured pretty good audio. My phone does pretty good with the audio.
All right.
And all of the videos that I shot, and I shot 5 or 6 of the Bullet Boys because I was just stunned at how god awful they were. But look up "Stay a While." You'll see it. I labeled them all like by the name of the song.
All right, I'm pulling it up right now.
So once you get there and listen to and play a little bit of that, because it's like, dude, what are you doing? And to be honest, I'm surprised, even though he was just standing there for that song, I'm surprised he wasn't jumping up and down for that one too.
Well, I think you know, one of the things that Mark has done or attempted to do during his career is he tries to portray himself to be years younger than what he really is.
That is true.
And I think that this is an attempt to have this energy of youth.
Yeah.
You know?
It just comes off petty.
Well, you know, you and I know that, but you know, for whatever new audience might see him for the first time, which is not likely.
Yeah, what new audience at the Great White Enough's Enough Bullet Boys show? I mean, come on. There were more people there that were registered with AARP than were fucking young.
Right.
It was old people. It was my age and up. I was the youngster in that crowd. And calling that a crowd is a term all by itself.
Well, what would you guesstimate the number of people there?
If I had to guess, I would say somewhere between 300 and 400 people.
Well, that's a pretty good turnout, I guess.
But not for an 1900 seat place. It looked fairly sparse. Up close, because we could see down on, from the balcony. We were on the balcony, and we were in row 2. We were in the second row, and there was nobody in the first row,
right,
as you'll see from the videos.
Sure.
There was nobody in row 1. So we could look down, and I would say there were people maybe 8 rows deep, and that was it. And then the rest were smattered around, hanging out by the bars and whatnot. But I don't know. It was a big enough crowd, I guess, to where they could probably sell enough alcohol to cover, would be my guess. But it just, I don't know, just everything about it was everything about the Bullet Boys anyway was disappointing. I thought Great White was still excellent, and I thought that Chip did a pretty damn good job doing the Enough's Enough stuff. Actually,
yeah, he did. I've seen Chip about 4 times. Fronting the band, and he does a pretty good job without Donnie.
Yeah, he does, and he has a great band. He has that band with the son of the drummer from ZZ Top, and,
right?
And I don't know who the 2 guitarists were, but they were good too. So, I thought Enough's Enough was pretty cool, and I thought Great White was really pretty cool. But boy, that middle set was very painful.
All right, well, I got this Bullet Boys cover of Journey's "Stay a While" pulled up here, so I'll play this, see what this is like.
Go ahead.
You want me to, I'll go anywhere. You try to, I'll do anything. You want me to, if you just stay with me a while. I'll sing any song your heart desires. I won't sing it all night with love, sweet fire. Ooh, I'll do this and so much more if you just stay with me a while. This one's called The Tree.
All right.
It's okay, but it's like he the high notes are too high for him.
Yeah.
And just going up and going, ah, that doesn't work. It's fucking Journey.
Yeah.
But I think, is Hard as a Rock one of the videos that are there?
Let me take a look here.
And this may not translate very well for the fans, but it will for you, to where you can comment on it.
Well, you've got Hell on My Heels.
Yeah.
The Bitch is Back.
Play some of that, because he does the play that, but watch how he's performing and all the weird fucking his guitar that he's doing, and the weird moves he's doing. He definitely does stroke face in that a couple of times. And just first of all, why is he doing an Elton John cover? He has 40 fucking minutes.
Well, that's the other question that I had, is just like, well, you're part of this XM Sirius, Hair Nation tour.
Yeah.
Why are you doing covers?
Yeah, two different songs from the 70s that weren't his.
Yeah, you've got how many albums do they have? Like seven? Six or seven?
Yeah.
You mean you don't have enough songs in your catalog to do a whole set? You have to pull out 2 or 3 covers?
And he didn't need to, because he could have played When Pigs Fly. He could have played Sing a Song. He could have played what was the Freak Show, the song Freak Show, and whatever this Hold On St. Christopher. He didn't play any of those.
Okay.
You know, and I'm just naming off the top of my head what were at least Bullet Boy's like moderate hits.
Sure.
And he didn't play any of those. Instead, we got a 6-minute "The Bitch Is Back" from Elton John and 2 minutes of Journey. It's like, dude, come on, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah. All right. Let me see this. Well, I see one thing that's blatantly clear.
What?
In his little antics while he's playing guitar.
Yeah.
He is definitely trying to channel some early Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's doing.
Yep. But he doesn't do it well.
No, I agree, but that's what it reminds me of.
Right. Yeah, dude, but it again, I did not go into this wanting to hate the Bullet Boys. I am a fan of, I love the Freak Show album especially. I love that record. You know, I am a fan of what they did. But Jesus, it just, and I'll be honest, these videos sound better than it sounded in the room. With the amplification and stuff, it just was, it really was tough to watch. I honestly, it was tough to watch. And I mean, you see the whole prancing like a fairy shit, right? In that video.
Yeah. He's trying to, exude youth.
With his punk T-shirt.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I mean, I've run into Mark and I've hung out with him on a couple of occasions.
Yeah.
And he was, extremely nice. And I will give Mark props. He is a halfway decent guitarist.
I'm sure he is.
But the whole image thing, I mean, the guy is almost 60.
Yeah.
And, he is attempting to roll back time about 15 years.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is, I'll give him a lot of props for a couple of things. For a 60-year-old guy, he's in amazingly good shape.
Yeah, I agree.
He's in very good shape for somebody his age. That being said, he looks like a fucking idiot being a 60-year-old in an American punk T-shirt doing a pogo bounce.
Right.
You look like a fucking tool.
Sure.
Not to channel anybody else, but do the Don Dock and Ripper Owens thing. Put your fucking foot on the monitor and sing.
Right.
That's what we want to see you do. Just play the goddamn songs. Nobody is going to the Hair Nation tour to see those bands dance around like idiots. They just want to hear the fucking songs. It's like a half step above YouTube is what those don't you think? That's all it is. It's YouTube but louder.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to really fucking see this tremendous stage show from a bunch of 60-year-old guys.
Yeah.
No.
Well, being that, Mark is the sole member of the Bullet Boys.
Yeah.
It's the Mark Toreen show.
Yeah. But you know what? Also, also another bitch. Don't have fat drummer with mohawk.
I saw that.
Dude, what? First of all, if you're fat like me, you can't wear a mohawk. You can't. I don't care if you're 20 or 80. If you're a fat guy, a mohawk looks terrible.
Right.
You know, it just looks bad. It shows the rolls on your neck, for fuck's sake. So stop with the fat guy mohawk, and just, you're in a band that had hits 35 years ago. You don't get to wear a mohawk today. You should have the fucking, I don't know, grandpa at the board meeting haircut at this point.
Or an Eddie Trunk haircut.
Dude, did you see his haircut?
Well, that's why I brought it up.
What happened to him? What lawnmower did he fall into?
Well, I think Corey Harker had the best line of all. It looks like he lost his battle with the Flowbee.
Looked like he has brain cancer in spots.
Yeah, he does. He definitely looks like Carl off of Sling Blade.
Dude, what was that cut?
Well, that's the, almost shaved close on the sides and a little bit of a mop left on top.
Yeah, it's which one of the Three Stooges? Curly?
No, it would be more of a Shemp haircut or a Mo haircut.
Yeah, it's one of those guys. It's an odd cut. If people want to look that up and put it in the chat room, it's Eddie Trunk and Joe Perry.
Yeah.
And boy, neither one of them looking especially suave.
Joe Perry looks like he should be hooked to an IV.
Looks like Joan Perry.
I mean, if a hard wind came along, he just disintegrated into dust.
Yeah, he doesn't look very good either.
No, he looks like he should be on what was that TV show with the Crypt Keeper?
Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt. Yeah, he looks like he fit right in there.
Yeah, he looks bad, and I mean, Lord knows, I'm not one to talk about how anybody looks, because I look like the fucking ghost in the first Ghostbusters if you inflated him a bunch. But I mean, for fuck's sake, I'm also not a performer that relies partly on my looks to fucking sell anything.
Right.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he looks pretty bad.
Yeah, he does not look good, but anyway, back to the show. Bullet Boys aside, the other two bands were solid enough.
Well, I've seen Jack's Great White about 3 or 4 times over the last couple of years, and
sure,
every time he's done really well.
Dude, he's got some energy. He's got enough energy to get out there and rock it. But again, I'm being hypercritical here. And fans, please tell me to shut the fuck up if you think I'm being too hypercritical. But isn't it weird watching him perform because he's so mechanical, because he's so brittle?
Yeah, he's decrepit.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying. And he brings it, and Lord knows that voice is still there.
Well, you know what's funny, and I saw him. What was it? Just back in September, that he opened for Doc in Wabash, Indiana, and
right,
he come walking up, and he had talked to Don earlier in the night, and he says, I want to come out and sing, Alone Again with you.
Okay,
and I watched the set, and it was very much the same set that you probably saw.
Sure.
And, he's out there dancing around and spinning around and doing his thing. And, because he literally has lost about 8 to 10 inches from his stature.
Yeah, he's a little guy now.
Yeah, he lost. It's amazing. It's like, where did those 8 to 10 inches go?
It's like all the cartilage in between his back, the bones in his back is gone.
Yeah. So he's like shrunk.
Yeah.
And I have pictures of Jack and I from back in 1990. Boy, I think about 96, maybe 99.
Okay.
And I stand 6 foot even.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack and I were exactly the same height.
Right.
Now Jack is below my shoulder.
Wow.
And it's really bizarre.
It is.
And the funny thing is that he gets out there and performs, and he sounds great, and he rocks out, and without any props or stage help or anything. But then after the show, he's walking around with a cane.
Right.
Hobbling around with a cane.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, how in the hell do you muster up whatever you have to do to get out there and perform for an hour or hour and 10 minutes or whatever it is?
Yeah.
And then, after the show or prior to the show, you've got a cane and you're leaning on it heavily and you're just crippled up.
Yeah, dude. And like I said, we went backstage to meet up with Jack and take a couple pictures. And we stood outside the door for like 15 minutes or so. And then it was just like, you know what? Fuck this. He's probably passed out on the fucking couch, pouring on the energy and,
Sure.
taking oxygen or whatever. So we left.
Right.
But yeah, it just, he did bring it. On the stage, I can't complain. He did bring it on the stage. So, yeah, I mean, he put on a good show. And it was long, too. I mean, he probably played a good 90 minutes or so.
Sure.
It was a pretty long set. He played 15 songs, I think.
Yeah. Well, being the headliner, he's definitely got to, bring an hour and a half's worth of music. Our good friend Sal, as I said, he went and saw it on Thursday.
Yeah.
And he said they did a great job. I think he actually, he sent me a photo that he took with Chip.
Okay.
So he ran into Chip.
That's cool. Everybody gets to but me, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Dude, there's that picture of Eddie. What a cut. Dude, if you get a cut that bad, don't you just say, forget it, just shave the rest?
That is bizarre.
Don't you just tell him to finish, just do the rest of it at that point?
He looks like he's going in for some kind of scientific experiment or something.
Dude, he looks like the guy from the Elk and Elk commercials here. That's awful.
That's a sling blade haircut.
Dude, that looks like a misglued wig. That is really bad. I mean, come on, Ed.
Yeah, somebody find a picture of Billy Bob Thornton as Sling Blade, as Carl and Sling Blade. I know one of you guys are so good at your photoshopping that you could probably pull that picture up and go side by side, like put the Sling Blade face where Joe Perry's face is, like they're brothers.
Dude, if you got that bad of a haircut, wouldn't you wear a hat? There's no way would I be taking pictures with my hair that bad.
Wow. But look at Joe Perry, though. Jesus.
Joe Perry looks like Keith Richards' rich or sick uncle.
Yeah.
He looks terrible.
I mean, he looks like dry.
Yeah.
He looks like he does. I mean, look at him. He looks dry. He looks like
a bathtub, he'd expand. Like a sponge.
I mean, he looks like he's dust.
That's interesting. He looks like dust.
He does. I mean, look at Eddie. He's got a little bit of sheen to his skin, but Joe looks like he's like a dust, like he was like in an old house or something. They dragged him out of there. It's bizarre.
Too funny.
Wow. Man. I don't know, man. It's just strange.
Fucking sucks getting old, doesn't it?
Very strange.
It really does suck getting old.
It does. But, the thing is like Joe Perry. I mean, if you know anything about the Aerosmith legacy, mm-hmm. Between he and Steven Tyler and, imagine the rest of the guys, I mean, they were the toxic twins of all things.
Sure.
And,
of course.
This is, how old is Joe Perry? He's about 70, right?
He's in there somewhere,
close to it or getting up there.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's what, that's what a couple decades worth of drugs and alcohol will do to you at life's end.
Yeah. Isn't it ironic, though, that Sammy Hagar is 70? He still looks fucking
young.
young.
He does.
And that guy drinks every goddamn day.
Yeah, he likes his Cabo Wabo Tequila.
Yeah, he does, but he still looks young.
I don't know, man. It's tough.
Yeah, Joe looking bad. Eddie, what's up with the cut, my friend? My goodness.
It's bizarre. Very strange indeed.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I took the day off yesterday.
From work? You?
Yeah, I did. I took a day off. I have 3 weeks of vacation, and I've taken 4 days of it.
Okay.
And I'm not going to I'm not going to be able to get it all in before the end of the year.
Right.
But, I talked about it on the show last week, and I went ahead and did it. I took the day off, got a few things done. I had a house cleaning service come here, give me a valuation.
Right.
And I hired a housekeeper.
Look at you.
Because I'm just like, I'm tired of being, I keep the place clean and stuff. But it's just like, you know what? It'd be nice to come home to a clean house.
Right.
And it's worth the money without having to pay alimony to say, hey, nice job on cleaning the house.
Right.
Now I'll take you out to dinner. I don't need to do that.
And they can say, just do it, you bitch.
Yeah, really.
Here's your fucking money.
Yeah, so the girl comes in. She checks the place over. She comes up here in the studio. She goes, I don't mean to pry or anything. Are you like a musician or something? And I said, no, I'm just a stalker. So she was explaining to me how they were going to go about cleaning the house. I said, listen, save your spiel. I don't need to know your method of cleaning. Just get the job done.
Yeah, I don't need to know if you use Febreze or Lysol.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. And I get it. That's part of the service. But she was saying, well, this is how we start. We start at the furthest part of the house, and we work our way to the front. We do that. So I said, you know what? I don't need to know your methodology.
Yeah.
I just want to walk into a house that's nice and clean.
Yeah. Does it smell clean? Are there dishes in the sink? All right. No, good. Job done. See ya.
Yeah. Take your money off the dresser like every good whore.
Right. Wear the French maid's outfit on Saturdays.
Exactly. Exactly. So, So I went ahead and did that. I go, you know what? That's going to be nice. I'm not going to worry about cleaning the house on the weekends and shit.
Good looking lady or an old lady?
Oh, no, she was probably in her 30s.
Good ass?
Average. I don't know what her job is there. Maybe she's like a manager or something. I don't think she's one of the cleaning girls, but she came here to do the evaluation, check out the place and decide, give me the estimate of what it would cost me.
Good sweat line between the tits?
No, she was wearing one of the maid shirts.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. So
you might want to audition a few more.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a sexy experience. It was just like, get in here and clean this house, will you?
Look at the chair.
Let me see. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. I knew that'd be a match.
Not the best Photoshop in the world, but not awful.
Yeah, but it's you get the point.
Damn it.
That's Eddie and his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. I believe I'll go to the Sirius XM show. Mm-hmm.
Get me some Aerosmith and mustard. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Train kept rolling all night long. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Ed, I like your haircut. It's kind of like mine.
Yeah, we look like twins. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Who's your barber, Ed? Mm-hmm.
Alan Kill Caller, you're on the air.
Okay, guys, this is not on topic because I'm out and about, but I'm just ringing in to say happy 50th birthday to Chris. Hail and kill.
Thank you, Tim.
You are a legend. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Ta-ta! I'm off with the boys. Toodles.
Toodles.
Toodles. Happy 50th. Ta-ta.
You know who likes Tim more than you would think?
Who's that?
Bob Nalbandian.
Yeah, I know. Well, because Tim worships Bob.
I was doing the bonus stuff for the Turbo book on Tuesday.
Right.
And Bob and I did a really fun interview for talking about Turbo's release in '86. And after it was done, we were just shooting the shit a little bit, after we were done doing the business, I guess. And Bob was like, who I fucking respect? Tim James. There's not a bunch of people that would admit to sucking cock on the fucking CMS.
Right.
But Tim not only admits it, but then he makes jokes about it.
Yeah, of course.
He's like, that's as metal as it gets.
Well, that's why we like Tim, because he owns it.
That's what I said too. I said the exact same thing, man. I was like, it's one thing to do it. It's another thing to come into the lion's den and admit that you're a steak.
Right.
And my God, Tim owns it. Tim owns it. He doesn't run from it. He doesn't try to, say, that was
that was a different part of my life.
Yeah. He's just like, yeah, I've tasted cock.
Yeah.
It's like, woo. Good for you, Tim. But yeah, now Bandian loves Tim.
Well, he is a worshiper.
Yes, he is.
So, well, good. Well, I sent you a message yesterday that Don will talk to you about your Turbo book and give you his recollection.
Excellent. Yeah, we'll do that next week or sometime during the week.
I was texting with Don last night.
Okay.
And we were back and forth. He's in writing mode right now.
Okay.
And he'd like to get a new record out by the first part of next year.
Cool.
And so he says, I just got this unbelievable amount of material. I'm writing. I've been here. I've been down for 2 weeks at my home in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Okay.
He says, why don't you come out for Thanksgiving?
Oh, wow.
So I said, well, if you're serious, I'll come out. And he says, yeah, let's do it. Done and done. Just let me know when to pick you up.
Nice.
So I'm going to fly out to Santa Fe, New Mexico for Thanksgiving.
All right. So message to Chris, find a co-host.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Because if I go out like on Wednesday, maybe catch a flight back on Saturday.
Why would you do that? Stay for the weekend.
Yeah. You know what? The thing is, I got to see because, Thanksgiving weekend is the busiest travel weekend of the year.
True.
So, and, I got to fly in and out of Chicago, which is ridiculous because not only is it a busy airport in itself, but it's also the changing spot for a lot of airlines.
Yeah, it's the hub.
Yeah. So, I want to maybe get ahead of the crowd. And if everybody's going to fly home on Sunday, maybe I'll fly home on Saturday.
Right.
Just beat it. So I don't know. I'll have to see what's going on. Hail and Kill caller, you're on the air.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? We're doing the show. What's going on with you?
Oh, not much. This is Dave from Albany.
So what's going on, Dave?
I just wanted to add to that thing when you were talking about Jack. I have that kind of same thing going on with my back, and I used to be 6'2", and now I'm 6 foot. So, and it's going to keep getting worse. So,
what is it? What causes it?
You lose all the cushion between your vertebrae.
Is it a disease, or is it just like it just rubs and tears away, or what?
Yeah, it degenerates. It just like over time, it just it turns to dust.
So are you in a lot of pain?
I am. Like I was just thinking when you were talking about Jack, some days for me I'm like that. I can be great one day and horrible the next. And I can see why that goes on with Jack. He probably is on some pretty serious shit just to get through the show.
What do you do for that, dude? Do you lay on the floor and try to stretch to so that it doesn't hurt so bad, or is there just nothing you can do and you're just fucked?
Usually it's you have a certain amount of hours per day you can execute, whatever you need to do. Usually, for me, it's 4 hours. After 4 hours work now, I'm done, man. I need to...
What do you do for a job? Do you do a job where you at least can sit? You're not nailing nails with a hammer or some shit?
He's our retired cop friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, that just sucks.
Yeah, and hey, I was going to tell you guys, what do you think of that new song, You Only Live Twice?
You only live by who?
That Stephen Piercy.
Oh, well, there's my answer.
Really? You haven't heard it, huh?
No, he's heard it. He just hasn't absorbed it.
I have no opinion. It didn't stick with me.
That song kicks ass, man.
It's cool.
I'll tell you, Piercy's fucking up on stage, but he can still bring it.
Nice.
Well, the new record is solid, and I have played it a half a dozen times, and it would be the next Rat record if there was such a thing.
Yeah, that guy Ferentinos, he's a good guitar player.
Yeah, he is.
And he's a good guy to boot.
Yeah. So really, it's just like getting back to what everybody's been saying. At this point, Rat is a joke, man. Let's just bring the Stephen Piercy band. Let's come on, let's keep moving with that. Rat's over with.
Yeah, but they still have the name recognition, and that's the big difference.
Yeah.
All right, man. Anything else?
No, my sergeant's calling. I got to get going.
All right, hail and kill.
Hail and kill.
There he goes.
Boy, that is another one that just has taken off, hasn't it? The manager calling.
Well, people know when they're starting to flame out. It's time to call it a day.
I'm glad they're all getting it to where I don't have to tell them.
Well,
all the time.
that's the whole thing. Nobody wants to catch the wrath of Chris.
Too funny.
Yep. Well, anyway, so that's what's going on with me, and not a whole lot, just work and stuff this week. Just took the day off and got a few things handled, and not quite the exciting week you've had. Yeah,
I mean, I had a busy week, and I watched a ton of documentaries again though this week. During the week, dude, there's a really good one on Amazon Prime. It's a 4-parter about that Oscar Pistorius.
Yes. The guy who pretended like he accidentally shot his girlfriend through the bathroom door.
Yeah. Wow. Did you watch that?
I didn't watch it, but I did see it, so I haven't watched it yet.
Totally worth watching, if for no other reason than I've never witnessed guy walking on his stumps before. But they showed him 100 times walking around on his, like, instead of just having his legs, because he's like an Olympian or something.
Right. He has the blade feet.
Yeah, but instead of just not having, how most amputees have it cut off at the knee, right?
Yeah.
He seems to have pegs, like half of his leg, but no muscle on him.
Right.
So they're like pegs, almost like a pirate. That's what it reminded me of. It looks like that. And then he like slips on his prosthetic legs and they kind of lock in on the peg. So when he's running, he actually has the leg thing that, so it's almost kind of like normal, I guess, sort of normal.
Yeah.
But there was something, and I'll be honest, it was kind of background noise, so I wasn't fully invested in it, but he was talking about the fact that he allegedly thought it was a burglar or whatever, and they kept showing him, like they made him go through the house and do a reenactment of what he did, and he was doing it on the peg legs, and he's walking around the house on the pegs, and I was like, man, is this fucking strange to watch? This fucking guy walking around, and he walks like not normally. I mean, he looks like a pirate walking around on pegs, but it just really kind of interesting and weird to see.
Yeah, he's like Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. That what I learned from that. I mean, I watched all 4 parts, and I came away with one very, very big conclusion, and that is, if you have any kind of fame at all, it doesn't matter what's fucking wrong with you. You can get some really good pussy.
That's right.
Because this guy, I mean, now admittedly, he was an Olympic athlete, but he didn't have legs. And my God, the chick Reva that he whacked, she was hot with some big fucking tits.
Yep.
Holy smokes, those were nice. And then, they showed like 2 or 3 other girlfriends before her, and they were all fucking hot.
Yeah.
They were all goddamn models. I was like, this guy's getting models without legs.
Yeah, fame and money will do it for you.
Yeah, it's like, Jesus, these girls really don't care. They really are fucking his wallet.
Yeah, it's all about the fame or notoriety.
Yeah, no kidding. I was like, Jesus Christ, I need to fucking hit the track.
Yep, they love that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's short lived. I mean, I can speak from personal experience.
Yeah.
It's short lived. They're curious at first.
Mm-hmm.
They're willing to get with you for a certain amount of time, but then after the excitement of it wears off, then it's off to the next one.
Well, give me one of these fucking supermodels just for an hour. I don't need it to last long. Believe me, an hour is probably 40 minutes longer than I need with girls that look as good as the ones he was banging.
Sure.
That would probably give me 3-4 sessions for an hour. Fuck. But that Reva chick, woof. Dude, and this documentary though was fucking brutal. Good Lord, did they show way too many close-ups of the fucking autopsy pictures? They showed one with her brain fucking all splattered out all over her fucking head and face. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, that's a little much even for me. But I kept watching.
Of course you did.
I didn't turn away. But
yeah, it's the whole morbid curiosity thing.
I was highly offended as I kept watching and hit pause.
I'm sure you were.
Yeah, interesting documentary to say the least. I don't know. Dude, I walked away from it not knowing if he did it or didn't. Honestly, you know, his side seemed realistic, sorta.
Yeah, but who just shoots somebody through the door?
Well,
in the bathroom of all places.
The theory that he put out there was that there had been break-ins in his neighborhood.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of crime. I mean, it's in South America, not here. So, you know, there's all kinds of fucking crime and stuff going on over there, and break-ins and stuff. And he says he thought he heard a noise, got up and started yelling, and there was no response. So he heard the door slam in the bathroom.
Right. So
he went in, told them to open the door. They didn't open the door, so he shot it. You know, and his thought that he presented in court was that, you know, in hindsight, she probably heard the yelling getting closer to her, so she got in the bathroom to and tried to be quiet so that maybe they wouldn't know she was there. You know, that was his thought. That's what he said.
Of course.
I don't, you know, I mean, again, he's also trying not to go to prison forever, but you know, it was just an interesting. I didn't know dick about it, honestly. I really didn't even know who the guy was. You know, it was sometimes those stories come on and I honestly couldn't give a fuck. And I looked at it and was like, okay, South African guy, you know, with blades on his feet. Okay, next story. You know, I can't be bothered with that. You know, so I didn't watch that when it came out, but it was an interesting documentary to say the least.
I would imagine. Well, I'll take a look at it.
And guys, I misspoke and said South America. I know it was South Africa. Fuck off!
They're worse than the media.
I'm talking on the fly, you dicks.
It was kind of funny. That's funny you say that because I was watching the Trump rally before the show tonight. He was down in Southern Illinois tonight.
Right.
And he was down in a, you know, kind of a small area, just kind of southeast of St. Louis.
Okay.
And he was talking about flying into the airport there, landing at the airport. Yeah. And he was saying, you know, he goes, boy, he says, the runway here is so narrow. He says, so, you know, he says, so when I was walking in, he said, I really had to watch where I stepped. He says, could you imagine these guys in the back of the room, this fake media, if I had tripped in any way or misstepped in any way, could you imagine how they would have crucified me that I misstepped?
Right.
He said that would have been the headline. Trump tripped yesterday on his way to the stage.
Trump falls flat in Illinois. That would have been the headline.
Of course.
Trump falls flat in Illinois. Blue wave, blue wave.
Yeah, he says I always have to be very, very cognizant about walking correctly or making sure that my tie is straight, or, because somebody's going to make something out of nothing.
Of course.
So stop saying South America, Chris.
Sorry.
It was South Africa. Get it right, fucky.
Whatever, like I care. Neither place am I ever going to visit.
Exactly.
Put it that way.
All right, well, let's take a break. Let's play a couple of tunes.
Okay.
And we'll come back. Of course, you did your interview with Jakey Lee yesterday. He also was in Ozzy Osbourne Band.
Yes.
And I thought I'd play something from the Bark at the Moon release.
All right.
Some Waiting for Darkness.
Sounds good to me.
So here it is. It's Ozzy Osbourne exclusively here
On your classic metal show.
Hi, this is Jakey Lee of Red Dragon Cartel, and you are listening to the Classic Metal Show with Chris.